Hi and welcome back. So now we're going to talk about whether examinations are still relevant for our children's future. But first, I want to ask Sophie this question, right? Do you think that the PSLE, well, rather the curriculum for PSLE has gotten a little bit out of control?
Yes, certainly. I remember that, I didn't study quite a lot of things that my daughter had to have to study in her syllabus. I think for science, for example, they have extra topics that are going a little bit more in depth that seem to be things that I only learned in secondary school.
The more absurd side is when you start to look at the papers, you see like math questions, and you're like, this is something that secondary school student would expect, not a primary six student.
Yeah. Which leads us into how relevant is this for their future? And why are we shoving so much information down their throats, which, yeah, might not be relevant? I mean, I have heard from friends who are parents saying, like, telling me I wouldn't be able to do primary school curriculum, and I probably wouldn't be able to do it because it's just gotten out of hand, right?
I think it's the way they learn and the way they're expected to regurgitate certain things. What I'm seeing is my daughter is a very curious learner. And when she's in class, she likes to ask a lot of questions. And sometimes she's being told, I didn't ask a question, why is your hand up? So I think in that I can understand why the teacher is coming from, because there are 30, 40 kids in the class and they need to get the syllabus through. And they have to complete what needs to be completed so we can take your exams on these topics. So for the more curious learners, sometimes they are, being put aside, they are stifled maybe in that way. And we don't have to memorize everything, I feel, because nowadays we have Google. That's what I always tell my kids when they ask me a question, ask Google. And so you have very accessible to any information that you want to find on the internet. So there's no need to memorize like we used to in our time, because we only had libraries to go to. So I think just, the technological advancement has allowed us to learn and operate differently. And so in the way we are teaching in school, we need to advance accordingly as well. How we are assessing students and what are the relevant, important, basic foundational information they should be learning.
The only constant we have is actually change. Yeah. So we cannot go year after year studying the same thing. So my point is that we need to prepare our kids to say, look, things are going to be ever changing.
So just wrapping up, my last question is, what do our kids need in order to build a brighter future for themselves? I personally think we need a different approach. We need a different classroom. I think that listening to the conversation and also playing this primary school teacher on television has made me realize that trying to get through curriculum for 30 plus students is very difficult.
My take will be whatever way we are going to design the future curriculum, I feel that we should really pass on to our children that life is not about themselves only. Yeah, life is really about other people. I like what I learned from the army. Yeah, take care of your buddy. Yeah, because your buddy will also take care of you. So it's so as I'm doing everything to make sure that this guy stays alive, he is doing everything he can to make sure I stay alive. If you're an engineer, design something that takes care of the world. If you're a doctor, do something that blesses the whole world. And if you're a politician, yeah, bless the whole country. Yeah. So that's why I really enjoy it, when my kids tell me, hey, so and so was struggling through a certain math problem. The teacher explained it 3 times, but she didn't understand it. But I explained it to her in our own language, and she understands.
So then again, yes, to you too, what is a better way to assess our children without exams?
Okay, so the way I see it is, the one better way we can get from the entire discussion is that we need to teach the children to be more human, curious. Because when I heard that, teacher said no, we're not taking questions now. It is, to me, what I'm hearing is that you are telling this kid that they are not allowed to be curious. Because I find that the times I learned the most is when my teacher was willing to answer questions I had on the spot. How I feel that examinations work is that we get to decide on what we want to be way too late, because we only get to explore our options way too late. Instead, bring it forward. Let them explore, learn, decide what they want to do. They can change their mind later. That's not an issue. It's just to give them a goal that they find feasible and work towards it.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Dharmhik. And what about you?
So actually my daughter is currently in a school system which I really appreciate, and they assess students not just based on academic. So it's a three-pronged thing. Academics important, attitude in class is important, whether you're interacting with other students, whether you're contributing. And then the third one is effort. So it means that as long as you're doing your homework, you're doing the task that you have been told to do, you get acknowledged for that. So I think it's very balanced, very holistic, not just academic alone.
Well, I think that that sums up our discussion today. But there's just been so many nuggets to take away from that, and we have to be concerned about it. I'm glad we're talking about it, because I personally don't think we should accept that this is the system. Well, thank you so much for that. I hope that you've enjoyed this 3-part video conversation about stress and the PSLE examinations. Now, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you at our next very fruitful discussion, I'm sure, next week. Bye-bye.